One of the most overlooked but highest demand areas is identity access management, also known as IAM. And yes, I currently work as Identity Access Management Engineer. What I've realized is that most people don't really understand what IAM engineers actually do on a day-to-day basis. So in this video, I'm going to break down in a very simple way with no complicated jargon, no confusion, just real examples. And I'm also going to give you the 3 core areas where you should focus on if you were to become an Identity Access Management Engineer. So let's get right into it. The first core concept you need to understand is called the joiner, mover, and leaver process. This is basically the foundation of identity access management that most organizations use. Let's break it down simply. A common system that you'll hear systems use is called Workday. Most of you have even applied to jobs through Workday. Workday is a typical HR system where employee information lives. Now, here's where IAM comes in. Tools like Microsoft Entra ID, Okta, SailPoint connect to systems like Workday to automate access. So when someone joins a company, that's the joiner process. Their account and permissions are automatically created based on their role. So they get access to things like their email, applications, internal systems, and everything that they need to do their job. This is tied specifically to their account, aka role-based access control. Then you move to the mover process. This is when someone changes roles inside the company. Maybe they get promoted or even switch departments. So when this happens, their access has to change. This is very critical because they shouldn't keep the same access to systems and applications that they don't need anymore. And finally, you have the leaver process. This is when someone leaves the company for better opportunity, or even, God forbid, they get fired. When that happens, IAM systems, or you could say IAM engineers, make sure that access is removed immediately so that the organization has no security risk. This is one of the most important parts of cybersecurity because if access isn't managed correctly, companies can have serious security issues. Second area you need to focus on is understanding non-human identities. Most people think that IAM is only about employees, but in reality, a huge part of IAM is managing things that are not human. This includes service accounts, bots, automation, and even AI-based systems. For example, let's say an application needs to automatically pull data from a database. That process doesn't use a human login. It uses a service account. Or you could have an automated workflow between systems in the backend. That would be considered a non-human identity. The challenge here is that these accounts still need permissions, so they still need monitoring, and they also still need governance. Most organizations focus on managing just their employees, but truth be told, non-human identities are actually the X factor. Nowadays, non-human identities actually outnumber human identities. So a big part of IAM is making sure that these identities are secure, properly managed, and not over-permissioned. The third and final pillar is very slept on, and this would be setting the scope and communication across teams. Working in identity is not just all technical, it's a highly cross-functional role. As an IAM engineer, you're working constantly with HR teams, security teams, application owners, cloud teams, and even business stakeholders. Identity touches everything. For example, if an application needs to be integrated into your IAM system, you have to coordinate with the application team to understand how users should access it. Or there's security audits. You may need to explain access controls to compliance teams. Or there could be a user issue. You might need to work with IT support to actually troubleshoot access problems. So communication sounds cliche, but it's arguably just as important as the technical skills. If you can't clearly explain identity concepts to non-technical teams, you're going to struggle in the job, point blank period. So if you're trying to become an identity access management engineer, focus on those 3 things. Understand the joiner, mover, leaver cycle, learn how to manage non-human identities such as service accounts or bots, and develop strong cross-functional communication skills. If you understand those key areas, you're definitely miles ahead of the competition. And if you would like more content like this, I'll definitely be dropping more videos discussing cybersecurity careers and also IAM concepts in future videos. If you would like access to my free cybersecurity roadmap and also access to my free Discord community, feel free to click the links below.